In this video, we're going to talk about how you can choose the default fill and outline colors and how you can change them and set them. So what I'll do to get started is I'm just going to choose the Create Star Shape tool. Left click and drag to create a star. I'll right click to finish and let go of the star. And it's currently selected. And so you can see when it's selected that this star has a black outline and a white fill. Now, white fill, first of all, fill is represented by the little paint bucket and outline is represented by the little pencil. And outline is always represented by the upper left-hand quadrant of the color shapes, of the color choices in your palette. And fill is always represented by the lower right-hand quadrant. So, right off the bat, I've got a white fill with a black outline, and I can see that the white fill is using a paint technique. Actually, it's using paint fill technique. I can see that here. And I can see that the black outline, if I look at the object properties for the outline, is set as a running stitch. And so here I have black embroidery threads and white paint, palettes. So that's why we have two different color palettes, because it depends on which technique. In other words, if I take this shape right now and go on its object properties for its fill and change it to, let's say, from a paint fill to an applique, I still have a black outline and a white fill, but now the white fill's moved over to the threads and it's no longer in the brushes. I said, no, I like it better as a paint fill. Turn it back to paint fill, and the white's moved back over here. Now I can change the color. So I've got by default was black outline. If I'd rather have a red outline, I find red in my color palette and I click on the upper left and it gives it a red outline instead of a black one. If I don't like the fill color and I'd rather have a green fill, I click on the lower right of the green fill and it'll change that fill color. So that's how you can select a shape and choose an outline color and a fill color. What if you didn't want to have any fill or any outline? Let's just say I didn't want to have any outline, so I'll select the shape. Instead of having a red outline, I could click on this over here is for choosing none. So if I click on the upper left of that, it gives me the green, paint fill with no outline. And when there's no outline turned on, if I was to come over here and try and get the object properties for the outline, it doesn't allow me to select that. And it's because it's not currently available. So, to turn it back on, I simply need to come and choose a color. I can give, let's say, burgundy or this dark red color. Click on the upper left, which adds it back, to the shape. So now I have a green fill with a dark red outline. And therefore, I can come over to the object properties and I can look at the outline and see that it's set as a running stitch. And if I wanted to change it to a satin serial, I could change it to a satin serial. Go back to the fill, see the fill settings, see the outline settings. So when you choose none, so if I choose none for the fill, then therefore I don't have any ability to adjust the fill settings. If I want to turn that back on, simply come over here and say, well, I'll fill it in blue this time, whatever. Now, if you know that you want to create, let's say, red fills with blue outlines, then you can set that as your default. And so to do that, I'll just left click on the empty workspace to let go of anything selected. Now, coming over the shape, if I wanted to have a red fill by default, I'll find the red fill I want, and I'll right click on it and say Set Fill Color. And what this does is it allows me to choose, first of all, is this the default color for graphic objects or text objects? So you have two kind of different defaults, one for shapes and lines that we create and the other for text. And then is this going to be the default just for this design or for all new designs that I create? And when you say OK, that'll be updated. And so now I've got that set, the red fill. If I wanted to always have a blue outline, again, I would come over top of the blue color that I wanted and right click and say Set Pen Color. And same questions, graphic object, this design only, say OK. And now if I draw a new star, so I'll just take that star shape and left click and drag, you'll see that I'm going to have, by default, a red star with a blue outline. So that's how you can choose the defaults. And then, of course, I could make as many red stars with blue outlines as I want. So I'll just draw a few more. But once I'm done, of course, at any time you can use your rectangle selection tool to select that shape and then change it from the default. Say, well, for this particular star, I want to have a green fill. and maybe choose a different color outline, like whatever, yellow or something like that. So you can see how you can easily change the default fill and outline, but at the same time, if you want to control what those defaults are, you simply choose the color, right click over top, and say set fill color or set pen color for this graphic only or for every new design. Say OK, and that's now the updated setting. And now I have, red fills with pink outlines. So that's it. You can create shapes and control the fill color and the outline color. And if you like, you can set the default color.